Good evening, everyone. Tonight is Spiritual Monday. Let's Talk podcast. There's a lot of things going on in the news. Um, we talked about some things last week. We try to stay up to date on things. Just remember that the holiday season is here for those that celebrate. Make sure that you are being careful out. Make sure you're watching your backs. Ladies, when leaving the stores with bags, make sure you're not on the phone. Uh-oh. That's my sage. That's my sage. Hold on, y'all. Turn my fan on. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm right above the smoke detector. Bye. So, remember, ladies, when you're shopping, just remember to make sure that you're watching your surroundings and make sure that you're not on the phone and just be protected and be mindful. This is the season where everybody is looking for some kind of come up. So, heard a story the other day. Lady went into the airport to drop somebody off, left her car running, came back, and the car was gone. So just be mindful that we are in those times. Again, tonight is Spiritual Monday night. Let's Talk podcast. So we have an amazing guest that's coming on tonight. I love this lady unconditionally. Yes, I do. She's a wife. She's a mother. She's a spiritual leader. She is everything that you can ever imagine rolled up into one. So if you need a mentor, she would be a good person that would be a very good mentor. There's a piece of hair on my face. I'm sorry, y'all. But she would be a very good mentor. A lot of people, me and Sun Goddess was talking about, a lot of the celebrities are passing away due to certain kind of cancers. So remember, be mindful of what you eat, stay lifted, and just stay prayed up. Make sure you're praying for each other. So on that note, speaking of Sun Goddess, I'm going to bring our host in. Okay, y'all know I always have a problem bringing her in and don't never want to bring her right in. Hey,
Hey, John.
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I am fine. It's warm. It's beautiful out, so I'm doing good. No
That's
rain.
good to hear. How was your weekend?
Yeah. So
Your
what's
week?
huh?
I said, how was your week?
Well, the week just started.
Well, the weekend. How was your weekend? That's what I'm saying.
Weekend. You know what? My weekend was good. I laid down some laws this weekend, and boy, do I tell you, I shot to the top. Positive energy and everything. Sometimes you just have to say what you have to say to make people understand who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can't just walk on eggshells and glass.
All
So
right.
your weekend.
My weekend was good. My weekend is always good.
Okay.
Woke up, did my 6 mile walk. Well, I
Oh,
kind of do start back doing that. But I get up every morning now and I do my 6 mile walk and say my affirmations and all of that good stuff. So my week was good.
boy,
Weekend was
you have
good.
to stay prayed up. I actually lit the sage and the smoke detector went off, so I had to
I
kind of
heard it. I thought that was mine for a second. I was looking around like
so
it was loud.
I even have the white candle lit tonight. So like
Okay.
I said, we have amazing guests coming on tonight. And I guess we're gonna jump right into it because she has a lot to cover.
Okay. Let me fix my stuff too. Okay. Sorry, I'm fixing my tripod.
You're fine. So did you want to talk about anything in the news before we actually bring the guests in?
Uh, probably. What have we heard this weekend?
I was just talking about how a lot of celebrities are coming up with cancer. I'm noticing the ones from the voice, the music shows.
Oh yeah, The Voice, American Idol. Um,
American,
out of the winning contestants actually have been coming up, passing away from
yeah,
instances. I know one had a car accident recently, and then there was another girl, I think she was from The Voice, that had cancer. So
yeah.
it's been quite a few from these singing shows that have been, passing away from illness.
Okay.
Oh, and the little what was else was in the news that I sent you? The 10-year-old boy that killed his mom over a game.
Yes, yes. Now that was
And
crazy.
he was talking about the entities in his head and about him hearing voices and different things like that. And people was trying to call him crazy and saying that doesn't exist. But yeah,
Mhm.
things in your can get inside of your head and things like that does exist because we talk about it all the time.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So remember, make sure you're praying for your, not just your family, but make sure that you're praying for your children. They go out, they leave you every day, they go to school. You just don't know what they're going through. And sometimes it's hard for them to talk to you, but let's make sure they have someone to go to, a safe place, some type of mentor that they can look back and say, hey, I'm going through this. I mean, I see it every day with my granddaughter and her friends. It's and it's really the school districts. When these children are telling the school that this is going on, they're really not paying attention. It's like they give the leeway to the bullies. And one of
Mhm.
the parents has said, school now is almost like the penitentiary. They stand in line, they go to lunch at a certain time, they have to get up against the wall. So just be mindful of what your kids go through when they're not with you. Okay. So Sun Goddess, did you want to say anything else?
Well, we do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, we do have this each and every Mondays at 7 p.m. CST time. And then also, if you want to watch our previous videos, make sure you check out our YouTube, which is Let's Talk Podcast, Spiritual Studies, Food for the 444 on YouTube. Okay? So that's where you can find most of our videos at. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you also hit up Spirit Queen for her spices. She has lemongrass, she has fruit spices, she has veggie spices. Make sure you hit her up for that. And then also, if you want a reading or any kind, make sure you hit Spirit Queen up or hit myself up, and we can set that up as well too. Okay?
Okay. So on that note, no further ado, we're going to bring in our special guest. I know I see her on here, so we're going to invite her, and we just waiting on her. Drum roll. My grandson decided he wants.
Guess I don't want to look at my toes, huh? Hold on.
Okay, guys, this is our special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we will go from there.
Well, first of all, please excuse all this multiple streams of noise coming from my house right now. It's Monday Night Football, hubby hanging curtains. There's a lot going on over here, y'all. I done tried to find somewhere soft and quiet, but I'm just going to warn y'all, that might not be possible today.
Hey,
We can hear you just fine, Queen. You sound good.
So, my name is Allisha Jones Pickens. I have known Mel. Oh my God, Mel. Honestly, I think I met you probably 2 years after I got out of prison. Now that was 2000 and what, 6, 7, somewhere around there.
I met you in 2007.
Look, so that's 3 years after I came home, and look at how far we've come. Ain't God good,
Yes, yes, yes.
man? Mm-mm-mm-mm. So I am actually the owner of my own nonprofit, Community of Hope. I am the owner of Gifted Hands Boutique, where I just try to utilize all those great gifts God gave me to touch somebody else's heart. I'm an author. I have 12 books that are published. I just try my best to lead by example with everything that I do. And I'm just me, just little old me.
Oh,
An all around entrepreneur, y'all, with multiple streams of income. So yeah.
I want to touch on the boutique. Do you have any of your creations close to you?
Other than the Christmas tree that is up, my Wakanda tree is happening right now. Now I'll show you that, but all of my other stuff, I make stuff for people to. All of my dolls and everything is made to order. So when they send me a picture of their loved one, probably that's deceased. I try to recreate them in a yarn doll so that they have something to hold while they're grieving the loss of that person. It's pretty
Okay.
cool, actually. Now, if
It
I
is.
was on Zoom, I would know how to share my screen, but I'm not, so I can't show y'all my dolls at this time. But hold on, I'm gonna show y'all Wakanda.
Been to her page, y'all would love how she can take a picture and create it out of yarn person.
Look at that tree.
So this is my Wakanda tree for Christmas. That's Juri. Got T'Challa, got the Panther, got the Queen Mom down there out of a doll. And then, of course, I had to make Dora over there. So that was my fun time with my inner child this month. I took the whole month of November off from everything, and I've been hanging out with the 8-year-old girl inside of me that was molested. So me and her been doing everything. I've been giving her some attention, giving her some time, giving her some love and affection. When you have that moment when you're a child and that trauma happens and it interrupts your childhood, you're never a child again. So I had to go back and kind of hang out with her, and we played dolls and we read Ramona the Pest and Curious George and Care Bears and everything she used to love. That's what I've been doing the entire month of November. It's been all about her.
Okay. So you did some inner self-care love, basically.
Definitely. You know what? As a person who takes on other people's trauma every day in my field, my nonprofit is strictly for young moms and women coming home from prison. So naturally, 99% of that is trauma.
Right.
So when you take on everybody else's trauma every day, all day, every day, all day, you start to relive things that you thought you had gotten past and you had gotten over, and it starts to bring things back from your past, and you're like, okay. So I had to take myself back to trauma counseling. I had to take myself back there and say, you know what? I thought I was past this, but taking on everybody else's pain was connecting with some pain I thought I had buried, and that pain was connected to little Allisha. So I had to go back and do some things with little Allisha so that big Allisha can still do what she's called to do out here in the community.
Okay. So, Dallas, did you want to ask any questions?
I do want to ask something, because you are super, super talented in all of your things that you're doing. Like, what is your mindset and your mind frame when you're creating those beautiful trees and your designs and different things? Like, you just
know what?
Like
my mind never stops. Okay. Now that's one of the downfalls of having a creative mind. Sometimes I can't sleep. I can't concentrate. I have a hard time concentrating because I have so many things going up there that I say, oh, I could do this. Oh, and I could do that. Or I could just drive past someone and look at somebody else putting up something and say, oh, she should have did this and then went around there and did this. And that's how my mind works. And sometimes it's such a pain in the butt because you can't, it's so hard to zero in and focus. So I just go with the flow. When I saw the movie Wakanda Forever, I knew I wanted to make my tree Wakanda. If I can see it, if I can't see it, I don't touch it. So like when I crochet, a woman taught me to crochet in prison because I used to fight all the time when I was locked up. Okay. I was angry that I was there. I was ticked off. So every day I was fighting. And this old lady, she was sitting down crocheting in the commissary line. For those who don't know, that's when you go to the store in prison. But she was sitting in the commissary line. Okay. And she told me, she said, if you don't if you don't stop fighting, you're never gonna get home to see your kids again. Now, mind you, my babies was little when I left them. My daughter was 3. So you're already got that mindset of what's happening to them. Is anybody hurting them? What's going on with them? And she was like, if you must don't care, because if you don't stop fighting, you're never going to get back to where they are. So she said, I'm going to give you something to, make your mind focus on something different other than what it's focused on. So she taught me how to crochet by sight. So I didn't use patterns. I can't use patterns. Patterns look like Chinese writing to me. I can't even follow them. But if I look at you long enough, if I sit here and stare at you long enough, I can then turn around and create you out of yarn.
So was that
So
okay? So was that your kind of like your scapegoat? Was that kind of like that? Did that help you focus more when you were in prison when you did those crocheting?
Definitely, because it took my mind off of being so angry. Now, mind you, they also sent me to all the group counseling and all the pastoral counseling and all the every piece of counseling they offered. They sent me to, because they was like, you just a time bomb. You just angry. So in the process of going through that therapy, I needed another outlet, because my outlet was the more you made me mad in therapy was the more I wanted to knock somebody's head off when I came out of therapy. So I had to find something to do. I never knew how to take my talents and my gifts. Now, my brothers and sisters will tell me this talent been in me all my life. I could take cornflake boxes when I was 7, cut them up and create a whole townhouse for my dolls out of the box.
Wow.
And I would say, I don't remember that. But of course, I have a hard time remembering most of my childhood past the trauma that happened. But they will tell me how I could do that. And so I came to realize it was always there. I never knew it was there. I was too busy with my mind clouded with everything else that happened. I didn't recognize I had those gifts in me until I was forced to sit down somewhere. And then after once I got through so much of that pain, I began to tap into those gifts. So once she taught me to crochet, that just opened the door. Then I decided to start writing plays when I was on the inside, and we were performing plays for the warden's family, and she would call people all the way in from out the community and say, hey, you have got to see this that this girl has written. And so that started me to write a book. And I only did it to see if I could do it. Want to write a book. They say you should write a book. Yeah, whatever. But I tried it and they loved it. So I kept going. It kept going. Here we are. We 12 books later. So it's hard to see the good in you, number one, when you think the best part of you is dirty. Yeah. It's hard for you to even be able to tap into anything that's good in you. So all of those gifts and those treasures that are buried, often we don't get to tap into them and put them out on display, let alone use them for God, because they're buried up underneath all of the shame and the guilt and the hurt that we all got piled down in there somewhere. So I'm just blessed. I'm blessed that I get to see it now and understand it and choose to use it for something wonderful.
Okay. So I want to take you to the dark place where you to the trauma. So what actually was your trauma, and how did you end up in the penitentiary?
My trauma started at 8 with my mother's boyfriend, who decided he wanted to take my virginity at the age of 9. Okay. So my dad died when I was 7, and I'm the youngest, so I was daddy's girl. And then my mom, of course, started dating and ended up dating a guy who's a truck driver. He would just come in and out of town. And I never understood why she gave him such access to us, because he had a key. He could come and go as he pleased. But he started grooming me for this particular act, probably from the moment he walked through the door. But I was the one that he would always say, you're my special one. I bring you toys and I bring you dolls and I give you money because you're the special one. So it would start with him just telling me how I needed to show appreciation for the gifts he gave me.
Wow.
You need to kiss me and tell me you're thankful. or try to, throw his tongue down your throat, and you're not understanding what's going on.
Right.
To him masturbating behind me, he would stand me in front of him, masturbate behind me, and then it all led up to that particular day.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hurtful part of that was, yes, the act itself hurted, but the worst part was how he treated me right after. So once he saw that I wasn't going to tell from all the previous things he'd done to me, and the way he kept me from doing it was he would say, your mom tells me all the time how she can't stand you. Your mom tells me all the time how you're the child that she just don't like. And it would be funny because, no, it's not funny, but I'm saying it was, my mom would actually say that to me.
What?
Like when she would be upset, she would always say, I can't stand y'all. Should have never had you. You sperm, I should have let hit the wall. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. So for somebody to come back and say, you're the one that your mom always says she doesn't like or she wish she never had, it was so easy to believe that.
Yep.
Because when she got angry, she would say those type of hurtful things.
Mm.
So I was always dumb. I was always clumsy. I was always stupid. I was always this. And so for him to come along and say, no, and I just tell her, no, you're not. You're so special. You're so pretty. You're so this. So it was romancing me up to that moment. Now, once that moment was over, and let's go through the moment, because through it is important, because I was crying.
Right.
And he said, shut up and take it like a big girl. Big girls don't cry. Now, if you think of a 8-year-old mind, a 9-year-old mind that's molded around words and what people are saying to you and their actions towards you, for him to say that to me, do you know how long it took? I didn't start crying until I got to prison, almost 20 years later.
Wow.
So no matter what happened to me between him saying that and all the way up to prison, I would just suck it up. I would just hold it in. At each time, I'm adding a little bit of anger to what's going on because I'm sucking it up. I'm holding it in. I'm saying, oh, that's just supposed to happen to me. Oh, that's just supposed to happen to me. And we're talking rape. We're talking prostitution. We're talking being beaten. We're talking, and I'm just sucking it up, sucking it up, sucking it up, and sucking it up and people would never understand me. And people would be like, what? Something wrong with her. She don't cry. Well, somebody told me when I tried to cry and say I hurt to shut up and take it like a big girl, because big girls don't cry. So for me to be a big girl and survive, I couldn't cry. So I just stopped crying. So when this act was over, he told me to get up, get in the bathtub, run some water, and change the sheets. And if my mama asked me why I had to change the sheets, to just tell her I peed in the bed, she wouldn't be surprised. I did it all the time. That's exactly what he said to me. Wow. He left my house while I was sitting on the side of the tub, and I had to hurry up, he said, because he had sent my sister and them to the store. So I had to hurry up. So he left with me sitting on the side of the tub with pink blood just running down from me into the water of the tub. And all I could remember was sitting there watching there, looking at how the blood merged with the bath water. I just never understood quite the significance of that, but I never ever forgot it either.
Okay.
And he never came back after that day.
Wow.
Never came back after that day. And I cried for him because you was the one person that told me nice things. You were the one person that told me I was special. You were the one person that told me I was about something and I meant something. And when you're gone, all I hear is how dumb I am, how stupid I am, how clumsy I am. But you're the one person, even though what you were doing was hurting me.
Right.
You were the only person feeding anything nice into me also. And people that never understood when I said I loved my molester. I loved him because of what he gave me internally. I hated him for what he did to me. So to be conflicted that early in life at 8 or 9, that set out on a path of beat me, hate me, love me. You just got to say nice things to me. I'll take my clothes off for you. But if you don't hurt me, you don't love me. So you've got to hit me. You've got to do this. You got to do that. Because all I attached love to was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me getting married early. And I mean early. I had a baby at 15. Turned around and my child, by this time you're talking cousins that, you know, and let me tell you something. Predators can sense the weakest link
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in a room full of women. They can search out and find. They can spot the weakest link in the room. There is something about you now. You're standoffish. You're quiet. You're withdrawn. You're into yourself. You don't want to play with your toys in your imaginary world and all these things. That's their cues. They know that. So after he left out of my life, then in come these cousins who are older than my oldest siblings, and they're having their turn with us. And I said us, but they're having their turns with us now.
Mm-hmm.
So my first child, it was so bad, and just so bad that I did not even know if that child was by the boy that I had gave it to or by the cousin who was taking it from.
Wow.
So this is walking through this cloud and this fog, trying to find my way. Breasts are growing. You're feeling twinges between your legs. You're not understanding who you are. All you understand is people, for some reason, seem like they can hurt me.
Right.
And it just followed me through my first marriage. Jesus. Was just we'll call him a ladies man because we're gonna stay PG-13 on him. So just just angry. You know what, I'm gonna take that back. I never even figured out I was angry until I got to prison.
Right.
Up until that point, it was just I hurt. And why do everybody keep hurting me? I hurt. Oh, well, I guess I'm nothing. People just choose to do me how they want to. It must be me. I'm bad. I'm terrible. I'm nothing. I'm this. So it was not until I actually got to the county jail where I just finally broke down and cried. And it took that steel door, that heavy steel door, to close on you.
Oh, yes.
There's no more running.
Yes.
There's no more, like, out in society, you can run from your problems. You really can, because you'll divulge yourself in other habits that will keep your pain at bay. Mm-hmm. But when that heavy metal door closes on you and you sitting in a 8x8 cell and all you looking at is walls and you, now you can't run from you anymore.
Right.
So when I got there, this lady, she kept coming by my cell with the Bible every day on her little rolling cart. And every day I cursed her out. Lady, if you come by here one more time, I don't want to know nothing about God. He hate me. I hate him. Stop coming to my cell. I won't know nothing about him. I had a feeling towards him that you must not like me, because if you did, why you keep letting this happen to me? There was other girls in the house, but why me? So you must hate me, so I hate you back. So she would come back again the next day. Lady, I'm trying to be nice because you're my elder. I won't punch you in your face if you come to this thing again with this Bible talking about. But you know what? And then finally, I tried to kill myself 3 times when I got to county jail. I tried to hang myself from the bars 3 times. The 3rd time when I tried it, I couldn't get the knot to stay on the top bars. So I got up there and climbed up on top of that sink, and I pulled and I pulled and I pulled, and I said, okay, this time it's going to stay. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to go be with the only man who I knew loved me for a fact, and that was my dad. Yeah. So I'm tying it. It's good. I said, okay, I got this now. And when I hopped off of the sink this time, it came loose from my neck. Stayed up there, stayed on top of the balls, but it came loose down. And you know why I started crying? I was so mad. I was so mad because I was like, you won't even let me kill myself. You are punishing me this bad that you're making me stay in a world that I hate, that people just mistreat me, and you won't even let me go where I want to go. I got so mad that I couldn't help but cry. And once I started crying, you got to remember, I wasn't crying since I was 8. So once I started crying, I cried. My soul cried that day on that concrete floor. My soul cried. And it's so funny because then I heard that small little voice that says, now you're ready. Now you're ready.
Yes.
And I'm like, ready for what? Leave me alone. Shut up. And it's like, now you're ready. The lady came right back that next day.
Because now it's time. It's time.
But this day I didn't cuss out. I just said, what? And she's like, I dare you to find yourself in this book. So she came at me with a different approach. And she said, I promise you, you'll find yourself in this book. So I took the Bible from her just so she would leave me the hell alone. And I start thumbing. Ain't no way I'm in this book. And the first person I came to was Rahab the prostitute. So that grabbed me because, again, at 16, that was the first time I ever felt the force of a man's fist against my face. I'm 16. I'm away from home. I went to Fairground Park, to the pool. I was swimming in the pool. I had nowhere to live. I was just swimming through the day, and at night I was sleeping in the park. So this other girl who was 16, she was like, well, you can come to my house. My mom was never at home. She don't care. She didn't tell me she had a brother that stayed there with her that was actually pimping her out. So this guy gave me clothes, was like, just so nice to me for a whole week. Give her some clothes, take her to the mall, get her something, you did. So I thought, okay, man, I got some people that really like me. They're going to help me. And as you know, the first play meal, that help came with a cost. And it was like, come on, remember I told you, sometimes I entertained his friends, and it was like, we got to go out here and do this and this. And I'm not going to do nothing. Girl, is you crazy? We're standing on the corner. And she's trying to tell me I have to get in these cars and go have sex with these guys. And I'm 16 and I'm fightful. And I'm saying, you got me messed up. It ain't going to happen. So that was the first time I felt a man's closed fist to my face because her brother just walked up and punched me in my face. And it was like he had to beat me to break me because I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm ready to fight. Until he just fought and beat till I had nothing left to fight. So then it was, now I'm 16, and in order to keep this, it's not even about keeping a roof over your head. It's about, you're going to repay me for everything I gave you the last week. I've been feeding you. I've been clothing you. You going to And my second son is actually born out of prostitution. And I don't hide anything from my kids. It's about being open. My son remember a lot of dark days in our life where I can't eat what you can eat, or I got to leave you in the car while I go do this because nobody's trying to help me unless I can utilize my body. So back then, there were no organizations like Community of Hope. There were no people that was just coming out and saying, you know what, let me help you. I got no strings attached. I'm here to help you. Help was coming with but in exchange, you gotta, and in exchange, I wanna, and I'll let you sleep on my floor with your kid, but you need to. And so it was not, it just was, and every single time just made me angrier and angrier and angrier. But here's the thing, I wasn't angry at them. I was angry at me. Why are you so soft that you can't fight people back? Why does everybody seem like they're such a giant when it comes to hurting me? I didn't get that. So prison saved my life. Prison was the best thing that could have ever happened to me in the world. Now go ahead and give me that look people normally give you. What? Yes, it was. See, God knows what you need. He knows the exact environment that it's going to take for him to reach you, for him to prepare you, for him to uplift you. But first, he needs that environment to break you down. Yes, he needed to break you down to where you can't get up no more in your own strength.
You
because
need
only then are you going to look up and say, you know what, God, I can't do this by
nope.
myself. I need you to help me.
Yeah.
So he knew that exact environment I was going to need. So it turned out that I ended up going to group therapy with I met amazing women in prison. I need to say that I met some amazing people who just made mistakes. I met amazing broken women who here's the thing, people don't get this. Anytime you've been violated, anytime you've been violated, it is impossible for you to make healthy choices out of a broken mind frame.
Yeah.
Impossible. So the moment you get violated, your mind is now broken. It's not healthy anymore. So now every decision you make is made out of trauma. Every decision you make is made out of that initial trauma you experienced. And so
Yeah.
until you can go back and defeat that,
And heal. Mm-hmm.
you can't build from there. So it's like I had to go to group therapy. I had to listen first because I was mad they made me go. I wasn't ready to go. I didn't want to face none of that. But I started hearing these older women and these women talk about them being molested and them being abused and them being raped. And I was like, man, how did they know I felt like that? How did they know I was sleeping with 2 pair of pajamas on? How did they know that I was da-da-da-da? But that's when the connection comes that you're not the only person in the world this has happened to. And that's what you feel most of the time, most of your life. You're like, I'm alone. Nobody understands. Nobody's going to get this. Nobody knows how I feel. Well, here goes a whole room of people who told me how I felt. So when I would leave therapy, I had older women in my life who would just come and pray over me and just rub my thigh and just give me cocoa and honey buns. That's all we had in there. But they give me hot honey buns and cocoa and just rub my thigh and just pray over me and say it's going to be okay. Never asked me how it went, what was wrong. They knew. And instead of questioning or anything, they just prayed and they just loved on me. And that's what gave me the strength to keep going, to keep fighting, and to keep trying to understand that it doesn't matter where you start this race. It doesn't matter. It's how I finish.
Yeah.
And I don't get to be who God created me to be as long as they have power over me. And as long as I keep holding on to what hurt me, they have the power. They control me because they out kicking it. I mean, they kicking it. And I'm sitting here crying. I'm still sitting here mad. I'm still sitting here hurt. They ain't thought 2 seconds about what they did to me. But I've been spending the last 20 something years dwelling on it. So I wasn't too sure about forgiveness because I understand they said it was for you and not them. Yeah, okay. But I didn't really try to hold on to that branch. What I did is I took it and I said, I'm better than you ever tried to make me feel like I was. And if that's what gets me to keep pushing to be a better me, then that's what I need to take with me to keep going. So for everything they tried to destroy me with, I took it and I flipped it and I built on it. And I kept building and I kept building until I was strong enough to actually confront my cousin and say, I remember what you did to me. I remember fighting you. I remember you coming. And I would write about it in my book. So I'm quite sure they were stupid. They knew I knew. But I never said who. I wasn't strong enough to put that name with it. It's always still that fear of what is the family going to say? Am I going to be the one that they say trying to cause problems? Am I going to be? And I had to get angry enough to say the hell with what you think. This is my life. And it's my sanity here. So I'm going to write it. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to keep talking it. I'm going to keep speaking it because I need to be free of it. If I hold on to it, my daughter, my granddaughter, nowadays my grandson, my next generation, the next generation, I'm just leaving the curse to keep coming and keep coming. And so I have to choose to break it. No matter the cost to myself, I got to do it for them. And that's what I chose to do. And so I spend my life is dedicated to these young girls and women. Because I have a lot of women that come to me and say, how? And it ain't but by the grace of God. But God had to break me. in order for God to even be able to reach me. I was so mad at him. How you gonna talk to me when I'm mad at you? So he had to break me and break me good. Lost my kids. They took them away from me. They was calling 2, 3, 4 women mama while I was locked up. I mean, woo! Talk about not knowing on Christmas where your children are. Nobody's bringing them to visit. Nobody's coming to visit you, period. No letters are coming saying, hey, I miss you. Now you wondering, Dad, did y'all think I died because I came in here? So you're literally, I was on my own other than those women that God chose to place around me. And so what it did is it was good because it angered me enough to push the thoughts of them away so that I could only focus on me. And that's what I needed to do. And then when he was ready to remove the anger I felt, that layer of protection I put over my heart, when he was ready to remove that for them, I was able to go back in their presence. But I needed to be angry at them, because if not, I was just going to sit in jail and cry every day, all day, because there was no letters and no visits and all. I done never got to work on me. Never. Right. So I had to go into that survival mode. And so sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Everybody has their survival mechanism and everybody survives differently. Everybody's trauma is different. And I wish people would get this, because me and Mel could have been raped on the same day. Mel might could shake hers off. Me, I'm trying to commit suicide. And you know why? Every minute of my life leading up to that rape is different than every minute of Mel's. And if I'm already buried in trauma or have already experienced it, that could take me over the top. Whereas Mel could be strong enough to say, well, okay, you got that off. I'm good, and her, nobody can walk in each other's shoes simply because my shoes started on September 25th, 1971 at 3:21 p.m. when I came in this world. And my steps were different than everybody else's in this world. So I don't like when people say, get over it. You still crying about that? Girl, that's been so long ago. Let it go. That's easy for you to say. Right. You didn't walk it. You didn't breathe it. You didn't sleep it. And you can't tell how it affected me because you're not me.
Okay, we'll stop you right there. We're going to take a break. Everyone,
okay,
in this taping, and we're going to start. But remember, we all have had tragedies in our life. How did you conquer yours? Are you still dealing with yours? This is what this podcast is about. Let's talk. And the reason why we built this podcast is for people like us. When you think you are the only one that have been through something, you haven't. But when you hear it from somebody that look like you, talk like you, then it gives you a little bit more confidence to put that muscle on and be strong and see what God has for you. You went through that because God wanted you to go through that to build you up for your future walk.
Absolutely.
Minutes. We're going to end this. Sun Goddess, can you take us out? And everybody, please log back in when we log out.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a second. Peace, love, and light.
You said